Rhiannon Jones and welcome to Showcase, where we bring you all the biggest and best news in art, culture, style and entertainment from here in London to Istanbul and across the world. Coming up on this week's show, actor Sam Troughton joins us to talk about new drama series Lockerbie, A Search for Truth, and what it's like acting alongside Colin Firth. Estra takes an in-focus look at contemporary British artist Ian Berry's unique and breathtaking use of recycled denim. I chat to Sebastian Croft and Maisie Ayres about their comedy horror movie with a twist, Getaway, which I can confirm is both bloody and brilliant. And staying with scary movies, we bring you our top 5 rundown of the greatest comedy horror films of all time. And I, for one, will be hiding behind the sofa for that one. Blue suede shoes at the ready for this week's hot ticket as we're joined by Andrew McGuinness, the man behind the hugely anticipated immersive exhibition Elvis Evolution, coming soon to London, which promises to leave us all shook up. Plus, our top stories from the world of entertainment news in this week's Snapshot Roundup. But first, like many, I've been gripped by Sky's Lockerbie, A Search for Truth. The new series covers the tragic story of Pan Am Flight 103, which exploded just after takeoff over a small Scottish town in December 1988, killing 270 people. Colin Firth stars as the father of one of the victims, searching for justice amidst the deadliest terror attack in British history. To chat through the hugely popular new drama, we're joined by Sam Troughton, who plays investigative journalist Murray Guthrie. Sam, welcome to Showcase. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having us.
I'm halfway through the drama. It's absolutely brilliant. Your character, Murray Guthrie, is actually a fictional character. It is a true story. What's your character about?
Murray's is an amalgamation of various journalists who worked on the story. When you first see him, he's a local journalist, and this thing happens that changes his life. And at first he helps Jim, but then obviously as the series goes on, Murray becomes more successful as a journalist. There's a bit of a tension between him and Jim about how you pursue the story as the years go by.
You mentioned that opening scene for Murray. It's a very shocking scene. What was it like acting that moment just seconds after the crash has happened?
In terms of like research, I did a lot of reading and watching interviews with first responders from the night.
Right.
And just sort of interesting things that you can kind of fire your imagination, I guess, to go in and play it. A lot of them talked about like overpowering smell of aviation fuel, and a lot of them talked about silence. That actually that's the one thing they really remember after this tremendous explosions happened. That obviously there were sirens and stuff, but there was a kind of that silence idea. I think everyone obviously is processing an awful lot of things.
And talk us through the sense of responsibility playing a character in such a tragic and important true story.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a responsibility. You do feel it. I think it manifests itself in wanting to do the best job you can do. You worked
very closely alongside Colin Firth. What was that like?
That was great, absolutely great. Obviously, I'd seen Colin in lots of other stuff. Yeah, just amazing working with him, watching him play that part and see him go about his business, how you sort of, hold this kind of wound of grief, this character, over a kind of 25-year stretch. I mean, he's just wonderful to work with. Yeah, really generous, great fun, and just really good to sort of learn off him, really. I mean,
what have you learnt off him?
I think it just his sort of patience and his very, very thoughtful, very, very. He'd sometimes stop in takes and then just reset, go back, but then very generously say, "Please do the same." And it was just a nice way of working.
On Dr. Jim Swire, he's a remarkable character who went to great lengths in the pursuit of the truth, including meeting Colonel Gaddafi, risking that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what is he to you, and was he pleased with how this has all come together?
From what I can gather, obviously Jim is, I think he's very pleased it's been made. Obviously he wants it to be in the consciousness of the country and on the media. A lot of people you know, born 1990 onwards, probably don't know too much about it.
Keeps it current.
Yeah, so I think from
his
point of view, definitely he would be pleased that it's back in the consciousness of the public.
You're absolutely fantastic. I'm really enjoying Lockerbie. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for keeping a very important story so present in all of our minds. It's been a pleasure having you here on Showcase.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks again to the incredibly talented Sam Troughton there, and you can watch Lockerbie on Sky and Now TV. Staying with new releases, if, like me, you're pretty terrified of horror movies, then you might want to look away for this one. Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz co-creator Nick Frost has just brought out his latest scary film, Get Away. It's a funny, blood-soaked romp with a massive twist, and I'm delighted to be joined by two of its stars, Sebastian Croft and Maisie Ayres. Sebastian, Maisie, thank you for talking to us here at Showcase. Now, I was lucky enough to be sent an early top-secret screening of Get Away, and I watched it on my own. It wasn't quite what I was expecting. It really is comedy horror at its best. Sebastian, it's very different to anything you've been in before, Heartstopper, Game of Thrones. Did you enjoy this role?
I loved it. It was so much fun. Yeah, such a different world and such a specific tone that I think Nick Frost does so well. So it was such a joy to like jump into that world with him.
And you'd already worked with Nick Frost, combines comedy and horror so well. Did it help that you'd already worked with him?
Definitely. I mean, I grew up watching Nick Frost in films like everyone did, and Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead are some of my favorite films. But yeah, we worked together twice before. And actually, when we were filming How to Date Billy Walsh, he was telling me about this script he was writing and this idea he had. And then a few months later, he sent it to me, but he didn't tell me anything other than the fact that he'd written it. So I was the same as you. I had no idea what to expect. And then when I got to the bit where everything kind of changes, I was genuinely shocked. Once I'd read it and we chatted about it, he was like, do you want to do it? And I was like, obviously. You
say you were happy and that you really wanted the part, but you don't actually like horror movies, do you, Sebastian?
No, I do not like horror films.
But Maisie, you are a massive fan. So was this your dream role?
Yeah, I mean, I literally love horror like that. That's one of my favorite genres. So I was actually like, this is... cover me in blood, like give me all the scary things.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but there is a lot of blood. But for you as an actor, what's going on?
Sometimes it's literally like some guys have syringes and like they're full of blood and it's going through a tube and it's angled so it squirts at the right place. Like, or like even like I think we had once, it was like a mop and it was blood and it was being flicked. Like some of the, like it gets so creative in some of the ways in which like they do the blooding. So it's, yeah.
How they do the blooding, what a great phrase. What do they actually use for the blood, Maisie?
I don't know what it is. It's not like, it's kind of like, I know that it's kind of sweet, like, because if it goes in your mouth, like it's not like bad taste. Not that I'm drinking the fake blood. Really?
After every take would insist on drinking all the excess blood.
A glass of all the leftover fake blood.
Yeah, I don't know what.
So Maisie, you enjoyed being covered in blood. Sebastian, you not quite so much, but you did enjoy handling the weapons. Tell us what that was like without giving away too much of a spoiler.
So, without giving anything away, I think it was like the first day we did proper any of the killing stuff. Up until that point, I'd basically been playing like a moody teenager. And we did the shot where my like Mac, which had just like maybe like 40 different weapons inside it. And all I had to do that day was walk, open it, and then like flick this butterfly knife and then stab some bloke in the neck. And watching it in slow motion, I was like, how is this my job? This is so much fun.
And we all know that Nick Frost loves a sequel. Can we expect more from Get Away?
Hope so. We'll clear our schedules for it.
It's set up to have just keep on going, to be fair. And
I'm packing my bag now. Come on, I'm ready.
Well, there was certainly plenty of twists and turns, and it was funny throughout, also very bloody throughout. Now, seeing as you're both bona fide comedy horror actors now, could you give us your very best scared face, please? Maisie, that was brilliant. I think you edged it. Sebastian, great effort though. Thank you so much to both of you for talking to us here at Showcase, and best of luck with the movie.
It's been so lovely talking to you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. And in honour of the recent release of Getaway, well, we thought we'd bring you our very own top 5 comedy horror movies of all time. Cue the scary music. At number 5, it's Beetlejuice the original, though we did enjoy the recent sequel. For us, the first film from way back in 1988 is still the best, with visionary director Tim Burton and Michael Keaton taking us on a roller coaster ride of screams and laughs aplenty. At number 4, it's the horror road trip with all the rules for surviving a zombie apocalypse, Zombieland, with stars Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg, and a brilliant cameo from Bill Murray. It really is a zombie-filled hoot. At number 3, Bill Murray is back on the list, but this time for a starring role in Ghostbusters. This family-friendly comedy horror is a true classic with enough scares and giggles to keep everyone happy. The franchise has also been enjoying huge success, with its most recent sequels bringing the ghostly gang to a brand new audience. In at number 2, it's classic slasher flick Scream. And what better way to celebrate 30 years since Neve Campbell and Ghostface went head-to-head than with the release of the 7th Scream film, expected early next year. But taking the top spot at number 1, well, we had to give it to Shaun of the Dead, starring Simon Pegg and, of course, creator of Getaway, Nick Frost. This British classic lovingly dives into the world of the undead, full of heart, fear, fun, and gore. The film follows Shaun and his pals bumbling their way through another zombie apocalypse. So there you have it, the perfect mix of screams and laughs. But which one is your favourite? Do let us know, and we hope you don't have any nightmares tonight. Right, let's head over to Istanbul now for this week's In Focus, an artist that uses recycled denim to create his material masterpieces.
I'm here with Ian Barry, a British contemporary artist who transforms denim into remarkable works of art, and he is here in Istanbul for his brand new exhibit, Beyond Denim. Ian, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Showcase.
Cheers, thank you for having me. It's been amazing to be in Istanbul, and I've been overwhelmed by the response by the local people here towards my work and to see it in real life, so I'm really happy to be here.
For you, denim is just so much more than just a fabric or a fashion trend, right? I mean, it's your color, it's your palette, it's your canvas, it's your layer, pattern, everything. How did you choose denim as your artistic medium in the first place, and how did it all start?
Well, it started like nearly 20 years ago when I saw an old pile of jeans, my jeans, which I didn't fit in anymore, and I was going to take them to the charity shop. My mum knew I was not going to move home. I was going back to university and then to move into London. So I was never moving home. So she'd already started preparing a guest room. And I saw these jeans. I'd done a portrait of Tony Blair out of newspaper. And I thought, I could maybe do the same out of the jeans. I just love that jeans now is like very representative of our time, the dualities, the good, the bad, but I think there's no better material that represents our time than jeans, and I'm portraying contemporary life. So it's just become my medium, but it's not always my message.
What is your message then?
There's two different strands of my work, and sometimes I've got to be careful. Like sometimes like a magazine might publish some work and I'm like, God, it doesn't make sense next to each other because, you know, I've made installations, for example, of a record store. There's records on these pictures. And then it might be next to a garden or next to something else. But often my main body of work is about community, about the fading community aspects of, I've done English pubs, I've done laundrettes, which are all closing down. I just want to connect with people and make them think, you know, not dictate, but like make them think, see, by putting something they see every day, jeans, you know, you've got yours on, with something they might walk past every day, like a laundrette, a pub. But then I got into doing portraits as well, which is a different strand.
So let's look at the wall over there. I see Andy Warhol, Madonna, and many others. Do you consider them like fashion icons, or like who represented jeans best, maybe?
So that's a really interesting question, because the body of work which is actually here is, I've been going around different museums asking people who is their denim legend. I've been asking like a lot of the famous denim legends in the industry and a lot of people in the denim industry, who is their denim legend. And I know a lot, but I don't want, who am I to say? So I'm eventually going to pick 57 different faces. But I love that denim was such a different material, but by these film stars like James Dean and Marilyn Monroe wearing them in the films. But on the flip side of that, it's, you know, it has such a bad rep now, jeans. You talk about environmental damage and things. But if you look at a pair of jeans, what a jean should be, it should be the poster boy of sustainability. It should be the poster boy, but it's not.
Do you always prioritize sustainability in your work?
No, and I don't want it to be like misconstrued. I am actually passionate about sustainability, but I'm not passionate about trying to push it retrospectively in my work, which is here, which I was doing not for the purpose of that message.
You're here in Istanbul for your first solo exhibition. And what can people expect to see here?
But people are going to expect a very varied body of work. Luckily, we've got different rooms, so we've kind of been able to show like different phases of my work. They're not small pieces, so when they're shrunk down online, they've become very small, so people can come and see the details. And I think that's one of the responses people have been giving the last week is, wow, the work's so detailed, how do you even do that?
Yeah, detail is the key word for your work, I think. Because like when you look at your work from a distance, they look like photographs or paintings, but when you get closer to it, you get to see the intricate details and layers and the hard work there. Right?
I think it is the details, and I think a lot of things have pushed me to that, because I'm always just like, I'm forever getting copied. Like, and people paid to copy me. I'm always like pushing it and pushing it, and it's actually been a benefit. It just pushes me to be like, well, no one's mad enough to work 16-hour days, 7 days a week. I'm just going to keep pushing it.
I'm wondering about your creative process from sourcing the material. I mean, how many pairs of jeans do you have, first of all, and then to completing a piece?
It is a really important question. A lot of people just think it's like, oh, just putting some jeans together, but I actually spend a long time thinking about what I'm going to do, and then also I work for my own photography, or if I'm doing a portrait, it's always like a commission, which takes a long time. Then I do sit on the computer, look at it, but I work from a color image. Some people think, oh, do you put it all in blue? And it just doesn't work, or black and white, but I like the colors because some colors merge in black and white. And then you ask about the jeans. I think sometimes I calculate about 4,000, but throughout the years, it comes in and out. So it started off as my jeans, and then my friends' jeans, and my neighbors' jeans, and then they'd start coming in from packages all over the world. But one of the things which has really helped my work is a lot of the denim brands and denim mills who make the material, including here from Turkey, send me their samples.
If denim weren't an option, what other material do you think you'd use for your art?
Well, I toyed with looking at leather to bring into the work, but amazing
Have you ever
artists.
tried something with leather?
No, I used to think about putting a patch on the side or something, or bringing leather into it. But then Mark Evans, a Welsh artist, uses it and is absolutely amazing. And I have a belief that he shouldn't do something which somebody else is doing similar. So like, you know, he became friends with me. But I'm proud of my craft. I spent a long time making the work. And I do believe that the audience comes in and has a connection with it. I'm proud when I stand in front of my artwork. I can stand in front of any top art curator, any top critic.
Before we wrap up, I'd like to remind our audience that they can see Beyond Denim at Istanbul's Kalyan Kültür until February 14th. And Ian, it's been lovely meeting you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Showcase.
And you too, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Esra. Well, from denim to leather jumpsuits now, as an incredible new immersive experience gets ready to make its way to London later this year. Elvis Evolution promises to celebrate the king of rock and roll's incredible life and work using cutting-edge digital technology, live musicians and mind-blowing multimedia. And to tell us more, we're joined now by the experience's creator and Elvis expert, Andrew McGuinness. Andrew, thank you so much for talking us through this Elvis Evolution immersive experience that we can look forward to. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Oh, I mean, the experience itself is going to be incredible. Elvis Evolution is something you take part of, that you're within. You go on the journey and walk in the footsteps of Elvis, but all of it is to his incredible music. And, you know, you hear about his story, and this is an incredible story of this guy who started in poverty in rural Mississippi and then went on to be the biggest star in the world.
And what is it, do you think it is about Elvis that makes him such an enduring superstar, and he still has so many fans worldwide? What's so special about him?
It's got to start with the music.
Yeah.
You know, the music was incredible. It was really breakthrough, and that's one of the things that comes through in the experience. Just how different this was in 1950s America, the backdrop of when Elvis emerged, and this fusion really, and again, this is explored within the experience of gospel and blues, and then what emerged to be kind of rock and roll. But then the style, you know, he broke so many rules. You know, this was a guy in the 1950s who wore eyeliner. You know, this wasn't the stuff that people did in those days, so he broke so many of those rules.
Talk to me about this generative AI side of it.
Yeah, so it's not a concert, it's much more than that. It is a genuinely immersive experience. So rather than you sat there passively watching it like a concert in front of you, it's all around you. You're in the sets, you'll journey to rural Mississippi, you'll journey to the 1968 special and be on that TV set alongside Elvis. But you'll also come face to face with Elvis. So we're using cutting edge technology to recreate Elvis from hundreds of hours of archive footage, thousands of photos, and effectively that gets kind of fed into the computer, and that computer then uses that to generate new unseen footage of Elvis. So there's new footage within this that is authentic to things that Elvis did and things that are recorded as having happened in his life, but that no footage existed of. So it's really exciting and a really interesting application of new technology to bring something to life and allow us to see something we wouldn't otherwise be able to see.
Do people actually get to see him perform?
You get to see him perform, you get to see some of his most iconic performances like you've never seen them before. We're not using the generative AI to do that, funny enough, because actually we wanted to preserve and show you his original performances in the best light possible. So we're going to show you his original performances in a new light.
Most of us have seen the film Elvis with Austin Butler starring. What a fantastic performance it was from him. What did you think of the film, now that you know as much as you do about Elvis Presley?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic. I thought Austin Butler was brilliant. I think understanding some of the story about the Colonel and his relationship with Elvis was fantastic. We've chosen not to touch on that, actually. We want to make it more about Elvis, you know, the man, and not so much about the people around him. But I thought it was a brilliant film. And I think the great thing about the film was it gets a new generation in to appreciate his music.
Yeah.
And that's really worked. And, you know, Austin Butler was a very handsome man, but God, blimey, when you look back at Elvis, when he was in his 20s, he was a very, very handsome man. He was a good-looking fella.
Well, tickets are still on sale, Andrew.
They are, elvisevolution.com.
Brilliant. Well, best of luck, and thank you so much for talking to us here at Showcase.
It's a pleasure.
Time now for this week's Snapshot. Blake Lively and husband Ryan Reynolds chose to skip the recent Golden Globe Awards despite a nomination for Reynolds' film Deadpool and Wolverine. The Hollywood power couple's absence comes as Lively continues her messy legal battle with It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. She's accusing the director of sexual harassment, creating a hostile work environment on set and orchestrating a smear campaign against her, all of which he denies. But Blake's been receiving a huge amount of public support from her peers, including Gwyneth Paltrow and Amy Schumer, who took to social media to demonstrate where they stand. And it would seem that Ryan's co-star Hugh Jackman's also been sending out a message by choosing to skip the Golden Globes in solidarity. With Justin apparently threatening to release text messages and emails between the pair, well, this explosive story isn't going away anytime soon. Also making the headlines, the destruction caused by the ongoing wildfires engulfing neighborhoods in LA. The fires have seen some big names adjusting plans out of respect for those affected. Beyoncé has postponed her highly anticipated January the 14th announcement and has also donated a staggering $2.5 million to relief efforts through her foundation. Meghan Markle's also making changes in light of the ongoing fires. Production dates for her upcoming Netflix series have been shifted in light of the devastation in LA. Meanwhile, singer-songwriter The Weeknd has delayed plans for his new album launch. Details still remain under wraps, but his team has emphasised sensitivity to the current crisis, with both release dates and promotional events expected to move out of respect for those affected. Well, that's it from all of us here at Showcase. A big thank you to all our guests this week, and don't forget you can catch up on all our episodes on the Showcase YouTube channel. Coming up on next week's show, we'll be bringing you more exclusive interviews and all the biggest and best news in art, culture, style and entertainment. We'll see you then.